Now, most people seem to think that infinity is more or less the same as a very, very big number. But infinity is in a different category of ideas altogether. So how would things differ if they were infinite? Here's one example to help us understand the concept of infinity. If our universe were to last for infinity, a monkey sitting with a keyboard in front of it, pressing random characters, would be able to type out Hamlet by Shakespeare. Now, if that sounds astonishing, consider this. In that same universe that lasts for infinity, that same monkey would not just be able to type out Hamlet by Shakespeare, but it would be able to type out all the works of Shakespeare, and then go on to type out every single book ever written, simply by pure random chance. All the books ever written. And that is just one way of understanding the implications of infinity. But it's not just enough to know about the concept of infinity. Think of all the things that we could do if our knowledge were infinite. Now, I'm not just talking about finding the cure to cancer or finding the vaccine for Ebola, because we are already capable of doing that. It is predicted that in the next decade and a half, we will be able to find the cure. But I'm talking about the long term. I want us to look at the bigger picture, to take a long-term view. And by long, I mean really long. Infinite knowledge implies that we never stop learning. For everything new that we discover or learn, there's an entire field of inquiry that follows. So, what are some of the things that we could discover in the future? We could finally find out if our universe is infinite or not. We'd be able to answer the age-old question of what lies at the center of a black hole. We'd be able to discover higher dimensions of life. We'd be able to discover definitive evidence to support that we're not just part of a universe, but an infinite sea of bubble universes in a multiverse. And these are just some of the possibilities that have arisen by contemplating the concept of infinity from a cosmic perspective. With infinite knowledge, our technological ability would improve vastly. We'd be able to create technology infinitely better than what we have today. Perhaps machines that we couldn't even imagine building today. We'd be able to create entire virtual worlds with people who look as real as you and me, who feel real emotions, and who are placed in real-world situations. But doesn't that make you wonder if we, in fact, are even real? If knowledge truly is infinite, couldn't this possibly have been achieved by other superior life forms, and we are just their test subjects? If we really do live in a virtual world, does that mean that our universe, in fact, has barriers? It is up to us, in our pursuit of infinite knowledge, to find out these answers. And our first steps towards achieving this will be by exploring space. Looking back, there's a lot that the human race has achieved in a fairly short amount of time. For example, we've crossed the oceans, decoded the human genome, left our atmosphere, landed on the moon, and even left our solar system. And all of these activities have changed our lives drastically. Of course, there still are some problems that we face. For example, poverty and pollution. But we're working towards finding a solution slowly. We're getting there slowly. And that's what matters. Now, I'm going to create a timeline of all the things that we could be doing in the future. Bill Gates predicts that in the next 15 years, we'd be able to eradicate 4 more diseases, the most likely of which are elephantiasis, guinea worm, blind trachoma, and river blindness. Bill Nye the Science Guy suggests that in the next 100 years, we'd be able to we'd be able to power rockets that'd be able to push meteors off their course and away from Earth, saving all of us from destruction. In the next 500 years, we'd be able to send ourselves across the galaxy. In fact, humans may not even exist as physical, tangible beings in the future, because artificial intelligence would well have surpassed human intelligence by then. But think about how much more convenient this would make space travel. We would no longer even need to worry about supplying the basic needs of survival, because no real human beings would even need to travel. In the next 500,000 years, we would completely abandon Earth and colonize several other planets in our galaxy, perhaps to the extent that we become completely different species. In the next 5 million years, we would have found new ways to travel across several galaxies, quickly and efficiently. This would mean that we might finally break the Great Silence and find other superior life forms in other galaxies. But humans would have changed a lot by then. It'd be just amazing to compare the level of intelligence between humans today and humans from millions and millions of years in the future. In the next 50 billion years, we would have explored the ends of the universe, or figured out if our universe is infinite or not. Basically, the amount of things that we have left to do and explore is endless, so knowledge is indeed infinite. So in conclusion, I'd like to reiterate what David Deutsch says. He points out that knowledge is infinite and problems are solvable. We human beings have the ability to solve problems. It's what we're good at. It's one of the hallmarks of our species. There's literally nothing we cannot do with infinite knowledge, and we should use that to our advantage. I, for one, am extremely excited about our future and the amazing things that we will do.